Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I am your host Doug here with your video blog for October 1st, 2014. Got a great blog planned for you today. We'll head to the MLB Playoffs as we had a wild game last night. We'll have your Heisman Watch update as one more guys really joined the Heisman race. But first, let's get to some NFL talk. And first, let's have our NFL power rankings. Coming in at number 5 this week, I have the Philadelphia Eagles at 3-1. Still a solid team. Lost to the 49ers on the road. I think they can still win this division, and they're still looking good. But the Cowboys are on the way, so better look out. Philly in at number 5. Number 4, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I like their defense. I'm not buying their offense a lot. They're going to get some guys back off some suspensions. I'll take Arizona at number 4 at 3-0. Number 3, my Cincinnati Bengals, still 3-0. Not liking the quarterback play out of Dalton a lot yet. The running game's good. Defense is probably the best in the NFL. They are in at number 3 with a big game coming up with the Patriots on Sunday night. Number 2, the Denver Broncos at 2-1. I like Denver. I think they have the best offense probably in the National Football League. I like their weapons. I think their defense will be better late, and if they can run the ball, they'll be a lot more effective. And finally, my number 1 team, still the Seattle Seahawks, the best team in football, best personnel, best just guy running the quarterback position, doesn't turn the ball over, and they're just in good shape. So they're in at number 1. All right, continuing the NFL, we're going to do a little bit of some quarterback talk. I think a move was made the other day that really needed to be made. The Buffalo Bills have named Kyle Orton as their starter for next week's game. He will be getting his first start since last year on the last week of the season when he started for the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is a good move. E.J. Manuel's not been able to throw the ball effectively enough, and I think by going to Kyle Orton, you're going to be able to use Robert Woods, Sammy Watkins, and some of those weapons downfield, and Mike Williams, and see what you can do with Kyle Orton. Because this division with Brady and Geno and Ryan Tannehill, we're going to talk about these other quarterbacks, is up for grabs. So if Kyle Orton can be a good quarterback, he can win this division for the Buffalo Bills. Still quarterback controversy in New York. Geno or Vic. Jets are struggling, okay? The Jets are struggling. They have an interesting schedule ahead. I think they're going to be not looking too good partway through the year, but I think they're going to improve. I like what I see from Geno most of the time. I think Geno can really get it done at the quarterback position. And I think if you want to win this year, you got to stick with Geno, okay? You have to stick with Geno. He's an okay quarterback. They got a big game at San Diego this week. And then they have Denver, and then they play at New England, which I think is a very winnable game. And then they go through Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. And then the back end of their schedule after their bye week, 12 through 17, Buffalo, Miami, Minnesota, Tennessee, New England, Miami. I could easily, in those 6 games, see them going 4-2 or 5-1. I think they're good enough. I think Geno is your option at quarterback, and you need to stick with Geno to be successful. And finally, I just have to tell all Dolphins fans to slow it down. Tannehill's still struggling. He looked good against the Raiders, but who hasn't looked good against the Raiders? Ryan Tannehill, still not going to be getting it done at a very high rate. And we're going to have to see if he can keep getting it done. Because I think at some point we could see a quarterback move being made with them. And it's going to be interesting to see if this quarterback move is ever made with this team, or if they stick with Ryan Tannehill and try to get as much out of it as they can. He's got a tough game coming up. They're actually on their bye week this week, but then they're Green Bay and then at Chicago, 2 tough games, and Tannehill's going to have to step up if he wants to stay at this quarterback position. All right, time for our Heisman Watch update, and still number 1 on my Heisman board is Marcus Mariota, 74% completion percentage, 1135 yards-wise, 13 touchdowns, no picks, and he also has run for 3, so he has 16 total touchdowns. His quarterback rating is still the highest at 218, so he's my number 1 guy. Number 2 guy is Kenny Hill. He's put up a lot of yards. He's completing about 66% of his passes, 1745 yards-wise, 17 touchdowns, and 2 picks. So he's not running the ball real well because he's not a running quarterback, but he can still sling it like few others. Number 3 guy is the wide receiver Amari Cooper, 43 catches, 655 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Those are his numbers still from last week as he was on a bye. I like Cooper. I think he could be the best player in college football, and we'll see what happens with Amari Cooper. And finally, a guy who came into the Heisman race after having a 200-rush game is Todd Gurley. 69 rushes, 610 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He's averaging about 9 yards a carry, and the guy is just a beast. He's easily the best running back. He could be a top 5 pick in next year's draft. We'll see what happens. But Todd Gurley, the new guy, joining the Heisman race. Major League Baseball playoffs started last night, and boy, did they start in a wild way. Kansas City, James Shields and John Lester both weren't great, but Kansas City got it done. Salvador Perez hit the walk-off single in the 12th after a big miss by Derek Norris. He just dropped the ball on a pitch out, and it was just Derek Norris dropped it, and they stole the base, okay? Kansas City can run very well. They stole 7 bases last night. Brandon Moss was definitely a shining spot. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, which was an A's record. Now it just comes down to if the Royals can actually make anything happen now that they are into the next round of the playoffs. They're going to have a tough matchup for sure with They start tomorrow. They play Kansas City at Los Angeles tomorrow night. It's going to be wild, okay? There's some good teams. I think the Angels are probably the best team right now. So they will be definitely something to keep an eye on. And Kansas City, I don't know. We're going to have Jared Weaver starting for Kansas City. For Los Angeles. We don't know who will start for Kansas City. And the other Thursday game is Detroit versus Baltimore. And that will be Max Scherzer versus Chris Tillman. So that'll be interesting too as Scherzer gets ready to go. I like the Tigers in that series as well. And then Friday, of course, we'll have Kershaw Wainwright, and we'll have the winner of tonight's game taking on the Nats, and that is going to be Volquez going for the Pirates, 13-7. Definitely a good pickup for the Pirates, a 3.04. I think they're going to struggle against Bumgarner. I will take the Giants in this game. Bumgarner's 18-10 with a 2.98. All right, so we'll be back on Friday. We'll do our football pick'em. We'll do our NASCAR preview for Kansas City, and we'll talk some Major League Baseball playoffs, as it's going to be a lot of fun. If I had to pick my playoff teams right now, I'm going to take the Cards, I'm going to take the Nats, I'm going to take Detroit, and I'm going to take Los Angeles to advance on. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. You can check me out on sportsmindednews.com. Also follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I will be back on Friday. Have a good rest of the week.